get out of my dev mode.
Boom, baby.
Oh, but I want to see if this works. What's up, guys?
We're back. Apologies for our tardiness. We've been working hard on stuff, having technical issues. My mic literally shit the bed. So now I've got this weird radio mic setup thing here, the Aston Spirit for those gearheads out there.
Jeez.
And yeah, we're back here to give some music feedback to y'all. We've got quite a list from the past few weeks.
Yeah.
As usual, so that's good to see. Do we want to just straight ahead go through the list, or is there anything else you want to say?
Yeah, let me do it. Sorry, I'm like testing something. All right, let's see. The first thing we got is Loki. We got SDG. We got Arwen. We got Laikeke. I don't know if that's saying that right. Avilo, Zale, Menthol Slim, God's Warrior, Balenci Baby again. We probably won't do two in a row unless there's tip. But Music by Div and then Jokerhead. So as you guys can see, there's a full ass queue on the free side. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh my God. So if you guys need feedback right away, you can always skip the line, go into the paid queue, which there's nobody in there right now. A $5 minimum. That'll get you to the top, and we'll listen to it right away so you can get in and get out on the rest of your day. Looks like there's somebody sending chats. I don't know. Is that you? It's probably
you. I sent the tip, but it didn't. Sorry, I sent it as restream.
Damn. All right. But anyways, yeah. So again, the queue will go Loki, SDG, Arwen, Laikeke, Avilo, Zale, Menthol Slim, God's Warrior, Balenci Baby, Music by Div, and Jokerhead. So if you want to get feedback earlier, just give us a tip. But without further ado, we could go ahead and go into the first project here. It's by Loki, but unfortunately, they just put their email into the link to the track.
Oh,
there's no project description.
Should we email them and ask for it?
I mean, yeah, maybe later, not now.
Oh, by the way, I don't know if it's going to work for you or not, but it's not doing the commands. I don't know why nothing's working today.
Damn, I don't know.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Let me see. The second song, let's see, SD Chia, does it work? No, ST Chia's...
It's gone too. What the fuck is happening?
Dude, the internet's dying right now.
Oh my God. This is super weird.
SD Chia's submission was from a little bit while ago, so maybe that's why. But looks like Arwen's works. So Loki and SD Chi, if you guys are watching at some point or be like, hey, how come I never got feedback? Just let us know. Once you get back, we'll make sure we'll get back to you. But oops. What? Yeah, so I guess we'll just go to Arwen. Do you want to go to Arwen?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so Arwen's song title is called Lies. It's a finished release. Their project description is, I'd just say it's ambient trap, and my intentions were to take the listener to a dark forest with mist. And there was the drop meant to be really minimalistic and hard to... Fuck, I can't read this. Minimalistic and hard at the same time. There's some spelling errors, so I wanted the perks really on point. Okay, Percocets. All right.
Percocets.
All right, it's Arwen Beats. Finished release 1 year ago. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, Lies, Arwen Beats. 3, 2, 1.
Oh, that's stereo stuff.
Is that a frog?
Whoa.
That's pretty fat.
Yeah. That snare is really loud.
Oh, yeah.
With the cymbal thing on it?
Yeah. It could be scaled back a little bit.
Like breaking glass.
Just in general, the drums sound nice and crisp.
They do sound crisp, yeah.
But yeah, that snare's a little loud. Wow, yeah. A little hawk.
Yeah, a little piercing.
It's
cool. Edgy sounding.
Very.
I like that little
I
melody on the wooden sounding thing.
yeah, I like how he's using the stereo field. It's everywhere. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
it's great.
Very immersive. And that melody's sweet.
Man, it's just that fucking snare is so piercing.
I get it. I get it.
But otherwise, yeah, it's so cool. Really nice use of space,
Yeah.
different textures, varying it up. Like that.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
This could be used in something really cool, like something cinematic.
This could be like in commercials and shit too.
Yeah, definitely. This could be like an Apple commercial.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was thinking that. Apple.
Could make a lot of money doing that.
This sounds super professional. Arvin, you're killing it.
Like if somebody just mastered this to make it a little bit less piercing and like in some cases a little fuller.
Yep. Bass is sweet too. I don't know why it just ended
Autoplay.
there.
Yeah. Yeah, the
That was
ending was a
lies.
little bit
Arvin beats Josh with his endings.
it's important. I mean, it's like I've been watching a lot of that one of the shows that Gordon Ramsay like yells at restaurant owners for having like shitty food, whatever.
Love those.
Then the funny thing is there are a lot of episodes where he hates the main course because it's like made by the restaurant owner who's not really a chef, and then like their mom will be the person who makes the desserts. Like there's
Yeah.
one that he like tried this carrot cake and then he was like hugging the owner's mom because she was the only one who made something good. But you know, it's like in general, like ending something on a good note is important. And it doesn't mean it has to be like, you know, something complicated, obviously. It's just like ending at the right cadence, right? Like the right on the right beat or whatever. It's a really small detail, but it's something that gets left behind a lot because it's kind of like, yeah, I'll fix that at the end, and then you forget about it or you get used to it. You just want to end off in a way that makes sense, you know?
Yep. Yeah, it seems like it was just gonna die out there casually, but then for some reason just chopped out, maybe. But
Yeah, and our commands are not working, right?
yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
What
Do
the
you want to
hell?
go into like first impressions and stuff?
Yeah, or I'll go into vibes. Vibes. Yeah, so I think it was like the vibes part of this, right? Like the imagery that it invokes, the sort of general feel, the uniqueness, all of that is like I'd say really good here. It's simple. It doesn't feel like it should have more going on necessarily. It feels like it's really well purposed for like a cool ad, like an Apple ad we were saying or something. Which
Hmm.
again, you could make a fuckload of money doing that. Um, or I don't know, like there's a lot of things it could be used for, but it paints a very clear picture. It's not overbearing. It's not too busy. You've got some really nice melodies, interesting dissonances in there. I like it. I like it a lot. Stylistically, it makes a lot of sense. So yeah, I don't know. Vibes. I think I would just give it a green. Probably. I think it's cool.
Yeah, I think he nailed exactly what he's going for. It sounds super ambient. It's gives me that dark. He said forest. I got jungle vibes. Very cool. Some of the shakers sounded like snakes. Um, just very nice stereo spacing. I think he nailed it. Everything sounds dark. Everything sounds hard hitting. He said it was going for ambient but hard, and that's exactly what it was. So that's cool, man. You nailed it.
Yeah.
I think it's green all the way. Content. What do you got?
Yeah, I mean, again, I think it's like it's put together really well. I would say it's a good duration. Obviously, if it's going to get used in like an ad, it would get used as a snippet of it. And it might be a good idea. Like seriously, if you want to try that avenue, maybe it's not your sole goal, but like, dude, seriously, it would be awesome. Like if you could get this placed in any major ad, which I think you probably could. Again, maybe a caveat of needing a little bit of smoothing out around the edges, just like making sure your dynamics are in check. I think the frequency spectrum might be a little little bit bright, a little bit tilted towards the sort of snappiness, less than the fullness and sort of the consistency across. But you could like actually pay for a lot of your music career potentially getting placed into really high caliber ads, and I think you know what to do for that already. So, content, yeah, I think it's well put together. One suggestion, maybe try making a couple of edits of this that are like shorter snippets that, throughout the length range. So one that's like 30 seconds, one that's like, 50 or something like that. And then potentially try to pitch them to companies to use in ads. Even smaller companies, you could still make a good amount of money that way. And the smaller ones might be more receptive because they don't get people like offering them music to use all the time. So yeah, I would give content probably a 90 or 95%, just given those couple caveats.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just trying to mod Nightbot.
Yeah.
uh, yeah. So, can you test the command? By the way,
Hmm.
I think my only point of criticism really is production, and it's that snare. But I
Fuck
mean,
yeah.
everything else, man. I
Command
think.
worked.
Hey, yo, it's Dom Rocks
Tom
too.
Rocks, welcome back, man.
I'm glad we got it in time.
Hmm.
But anyways, yeah, I think the content was fantastic. I never got bored, even though if it was ambient and like somewhat repetitive, it was very uh, uh, what is it? Immersive. I felt like I was there the whole time. There was just nice little switch ups here and there with the melody. The percussion kept it fresh. Um, yeah, it was awesome. Everything sounded snappy. Everything sounded clean. Everything sounded, for the most part, balanced, except for quite literally just one instrument. So, um, yeah, I think it was awesome. Content is, I think, yeah, if I could separate it. So, content, I think, is pretty much green. I would
Yeah,
say green, good to go. I really liked it.
cool.
Production, what do you got?
Yeah, production, like really good usage of stereo stuff. Oh, somebody followed us. I see
Hey,
see it
thanks,
on the thing.
KBS. Appreciate it.
Thanks. Yeah, the production side again, like most of it's very professional sounding. I just think that man, like that snare, the snare with the little, it's like it sounds like one of those small cymbals that doesn't really like ring out for a long time. I don't remember what that's called.
Hmm.
Um, you know what I mean? Like one of those.
China or
It might be like one of
okay,
those, but it sounds like one of those short ring cymbals. Those are can be like sort of cool and like funky settings, but I don't
yeah,
know, like that paired with the snare and just how like short and sharp that transient is
yeah,
and how loud it is. Like man, I had to turn down so much that it was hard to enjoy the rest of the mix.
yeah.
So that's a big thing, and just to address what the root
It kind of
cause
sounded
might
like a
be.
break drum, even. It had like a little
Yeah,
tone to it, but
yeah. Like I don't know uh, if maybe your room is a little bit too absorbent, right? Like maybe it's harder for you to hear those high frequencies there. Hopefully you don't have like hearing damage because that would be another case where if you've heard a lot of instruments in that range, like say if you are a musician and you've played drums a lot without like earplugs or something, or like that
me,
that snare region might be decreased in your hearing. I'm not saying that's the
damn, me
case, but
talking about me right here.
it certainly can happen. It's probably not the case, but just trying to figure out why there'd be so much of a disparity there because you sound like you really know what you're doing. And I feel like it's probably something related to the tools. Again, like the room you're using, the speakers, that kind of thing,
Hmm.
or just desensitization. Um, other than that, I don't know. I would say it's hard again to assess because that's such a major issue, but maybe it's a little bit bright, like I wish it felt a little bit fuller at certain points, like there was just a little bit more fill in the low mids and the bass, to make it
Yep,
feel more even. Like I just felt a little bit like I was missing some of that sometimes. It was just like more of the high end stuff,
yep.
and I could sort of make out what was happening down there, but I wanted it to feel fuller. Like again, a lot of
Like
the
a thick
songs on
low end
Apple,
here.
yeah, like a lot of the songs on Apple ads are very well, like very evenly mixed and that kind of thing. Or just songs in general, right? Uh so yeah, I think that's my main issue with production. Everything else sounds really good. The stereo stuff sounds cool, like some of the ways textures are interacting with each other and the reverb's really great. I probably would give you an 80% on production because I mean that snare basically is the other 20%. It's making it hard to palette your whole thing that you've created here. So
Mm.
definitely need to fix that if you want to do something with this.
I agree. I agree with that score completely. I wanted to say that I do love the sound of it. I love um, the fact that it has like a little tone to it, like a
It's
gang
unique. Yeah,
to
it's
it.
cool.
It makes it, in my opinion, even harder and a little more industrial. It's just
Yeah,
cool. But
definitely.
yeah, it is just much louder. Um, I think purely it could be a volume issue. It might be EQ as well, but I think it's volume. Um, then again, depending, if you want it to be as loud as possible, but you want to prevent specific EQs that are piercing, it could be an EQ issue. But yeah, I agree pretty much with Josh. I think production for me is like an 85 between green and yellow. It's really good. But yep, overall, God, man, I really did like this song. Um, I mean, it's pretty much green. It's like, again, 90 between green and yellow. Um, but this was a nice surprise for me. I think this sounds very clean, uh, very cool. I would listen to this again. Yeah, what do you got?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say too. Is 90% between yellow and green. It's like
Hmm.
if it's just cleaned up, the edges are rounded out. This could be really cool.
Hmm. Yep. But thank you very much, Arwen. Sorry it took a little while, but we have a big queue. So, speaking of queues, and also Dom Rocks, what's up, bro? We are doing good. We had some technical difficulties, but glad that you can make it. In terms of the queue, we have Ike or Laikeke, Avilo, Zale, Menthol Slim, God's Warrior, Balenci Baby again, but we probably only do one song and then put him at the end of the queue. So Music by Div, Jokerhead, KVS, and KVS. Thank you for following and hitting us up, but in the chat. So KVS, you are ninth place in the queue right now. We probably wouldn't get to nine people in the stream because we do very long reviews, and um, so anybody that's in the chat that wants their kind of song to be played immediately, you could just give us a tip. It's a $5 minimum, and we'll put you to the top of the list if you need to get feedback today. If not, if you're after number 5, then we probably wouldn't get to you today. But yeah, that's just how it goes. So yeah, right now we have Like Eke, and we'll go to the next song. Unless people want to skip the queue now in between reviews. But this song is called. Oh wait, it's a work in progress. There's no complete title, but they're thinking it's called Lost in Delusion. Okay, so Like Ike is a producer and works with the artist. He sent me vocals, 30 seconds, and said if I could use them for anything, and basically made a whole song with them. My idea was like something deep, I guess. Okay, all
Cool.
right, yeah. Ogoni, I feel like we've. Okay, I feel like we might have seen them before, but I'm not sure. Um, okay, so Like Ike, Lost in Delusion. You ready, Josh?
Yeah, let's do it.
Semi mixed. All right, three, two, one.
Oh, thunder.
Is that a face?
It's like that Squidward scene in the big white space.
Chrome.
Yeah.
Alone.
Yep.
There's
Alone.
something in the water I couldn't reach. I touched the bottom,
Okay.
but now I can't breathe. Give me up, give me up, give me up.
It's interesting.
And I could ask 1,000 times, am I wrong, am I wrong, am I wrong? Is this the right thing for me? No, it's not, no, it's not, no, it's not. There's something in the water I
Much fuller
couldn't
now.
reach.
Yeah.
I need it, I need it. I touched the bottom, but now I can't breathe. Give me up, give me up.
I don't like that zipper sound in the background.
I could ask 1,000 times. Am I wrong, am I wrong, am I wrong? Is this the right
I just
thing
imagine.
for me? No, it's not, no, it's not, no, it's not. Something in the water I
Weird.
couldn't reach.
Or like hydraulics on cars where it can like go up and down.
Yeah, like robots.
Can't breathe. Give me up, give me up, give me up.
The vocals sound pretty good. I wish it had just a little bit more mid to it. That's it.
A little bit
More
scooped,
body.
right?
Yeah. The details
I could ask 1,000 times. Am
actually wish there was a little more snare.
Is this the right thing
Okay.
for me?
It's your favorite clap. That's why.
The stock clap.
Something in the water
It's not
I
bad.
couldn't reach. I touched the
It
bottom,
really should be
but
layered
now I
though.
can't breathe.
Sure.
Get me up.
I like what their synths are doing, but I wish they had a little more body to them, a little more.
Mm,
I hear mostly noise and distortion from them rather than the actual like note.
fundamental, yeah.
Yeah, thank
Yeah,
you,
I mean,
fundamental.
that thing at the end, I just don't like the way that it's being wielded. Like,
The same,
the texture dude, that sounds the same.
dude.
What
I
the
got it. I
fuck?
got it. I got it. I got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah, it's weird, like, I don't hate the texture as well, I don't love it, but the way that it's being used, especially at the end there here, let me, like, just ugh. Okay, like, that little stutter thing, the "do, do, do, do," like, I don't think that's creative, like, it
mm,
just sounds like the easiest thing you could do to make it do something different. Just, like,
mm,
cut it and just repeat it 4 times, like, I don't it just the way the way that it moved, I think it was, like, too fast, like, "Woo, woo," right, like, it did that it wasn't sexy, it was weird.
mm,
And that was throughout the whole thing. I thought it was very distracting because like,
mm,
everything else was kinda dark and, like, brooding, right?
mm.
And then there's just this fast zipper fucking happening in the background, or
Uh-huh.
it's almost like a mosquito or something. It was just it's too fast.
Yeah.
But anyways, that stuff aside, what do you think?
I can agree. Yeah, I definitely think there's some cool parts with those synths, but I just feel like they're lacking the fundamental and I I want to say juice like of the melody.
The juice.
Um, yeah, it's just the pulp.
Yeah.
It's just
It's
the high
just pulp.
frequency shit.
Oh god.
Yeah, it's just the pulp.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, if I were to give them feedback like compositionally, I think there's potential there. I really do like the kind of 8-bit kind of detuny thing that's happening. Maybe Josh is something or is onto something there with that thing is just going too fast. Um, like maybe instead of making go up and down notes, you could just kind of go with the detune or maybe even like a little bit of vibrato instead of trying to glide through notes super fast. But I don't know. Everything else when the drops come in, I think it sounds very clean, very full. Um, and that's another thing too. Like in those parts where it's just the synths, it's very quiet, much quieter than those drops. So I feel like you'd want to kind of normalize the volume throughout for this type of song. Um, but yeah, that's my overall vibes. Kind of cool start. The vocalist sounds pretty clean. Uh, I'd say it's like 75% between green and yellow. Like it's decent. But there's yeah, some work in production I'd say is mostly what I'm gonna say. But yeah, what do you got?
Yeah, for vibes, I mean, it's okay, it's not bad. I don't know, the
I'll
bone
go 50. It's like middle of the road, mid
yeah, yeah, I
mid
mean,
five.
yeah, I guess the
I could
bones of the
even.
song are okay. I was a little distracted, so I wasn't I don't know what the lyrics were.
Were you distracted by?
The zipper. Yeah,
Okay.
it's literally, like, the same note, dude.
What are you saying?
That is the same sound. Yeah,
Wait, I want to hear. Oh yeah. I can hear it.
it's
Yeah.
the same, but anyways, I don't know. I also just feel outside of that, like, it's okay. It's maybe a little bit standard, right? Like,
Yeah.
do, 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 whatever, like, that kinda standard melody, standard chord progression,
Yeah.
standard I don't know. Like, I didn't it wasn't, like, the most cookie cutter thing I've ever heard, but it didn't raise anything that was super like, "Oh, that's so cool," or "So interesting," or "I'm really gonna listen to this again."
Yeah, you're right. I can't even remember one thing the vocalist really said.
Yeah, I
It's like
really like, honestly, I don't know, yeah.
not very memorable. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the most memorable thing was the synths.
Yeah.
for both good and bad reasons.
Yeah, I
But
agree. I
anyways,
agree.
yeah,
Well, that is to say, like, the production side was not the most cookie cutter thing again, which is, like, good, right? It's
yeah,
different. You're trying things out, you're experimenting. The clap, well, this is more content or production, but the clap I thought wasn't like, I don't hate the sound of it, like the timbre. Yes, it's very stock and it sounds a little bit flat. The solution to that would be to layer, either get a couple different claps and just play them on top of each other, or do something where you've got a slight delay between the two, like a stereo like offset, so that it
oh yeah,
sounds super wide and thick.
super
Um,
wide.
that would help a lot, and that would make it makes like generally percussion, especially your kick and your snare being full and wide, like especially your snare being wide, if it's this kind of like a clap, especially, will make your whole mix sound better. Like it's sort of like the framing of your mix. I think mixes with really solid drums make everything else sound better as well, usually.
Mm, mm,
So that could help a lot. But yeah, I don't know. Vibes, I think I would give it more like a 35% at this point between yellow and green,
that's
because
fair.
I think there's a lot of room to grow in terms of making this an interesting song, both
Mm,
lyrically, sonically, tempo wise, chord progression, like, making it a little more unique.
yeah, I agree. I agree with that. I'll drop my score to 50. The content. What do you got?
Well, yeah, content is pretty much the same thing. It's just like
Yeah,
it could be a little bit more unique. Yeah, maybe some different sound choices. Definitely some different sound choices, like you mentioned. That's about all I've got. I would say content for me is all same score, really, like 35% between yellow and green.
yeah. Hmm. Trying to see if I could add anything to what I said before. Mm, yeah, I just think the synths are a little void of that juice. Uh,
The juice.
and the lyrics, I mean, I think they sound clean. Seem recorded clean. Uh,
It's
mm,
got the juice. Sorry.
yeah, I just that juice had no flavor. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just not memorable.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know how the way to fix that is to rewrite, which sucks. But I don't
Well,
know.
it's like you can
Also,
always write another
kind of
song and just improve.
yeah, and like I mean, the situation is this guy's the producer and he's just given these rap vocals. So
Mm,
um, if you're in that situation where they can't really do anything with it, you could probably try to make it interesting yourself. Maybe do some chops or something. Um, but I don't know, or add some stuff, get another vocalist.
yeah,
But
that's true. That's tough. If you're just the producer, you don't always have the best content to work with, and it's hard to say. Like, is it production, like you mixed it, or did they give you something to start from that was already kind of stock and boring?
hmm.
I think that could be a fun creative challenge. It's like making something stock and boring interesting.
Oh yeah, it's possible. I literally just listened to this song. Fuck, I forgot who it was, but it was just like this girl like talking, saying shit like everybody thought about what you thought about or whatever. It was like in a speaking monotone voice,
Oh
but
yeah,
like they put this crazy like beat to it, and
yeah.
it was cool.
That
So
stuff
it's
can be
possible.
cool. It can definitely be cool. I also like, well, just on that note, I despise, the like cheesy like it's in like a lot of like rap and R&B albums, and just it's everywhere now. But like where there's a song that's just like a staged phone call or like a staged voicemail.
Mhm.
Oh god, so many of those are just so cheesy and fucking fake. It's like, why would you even record this?
Do you mean this like skits?
Yeah, like a lot of those skits, man, and I don't know why so many of them are fucking phone calls.
Uh,
What is that about? Like, why can't they be ever like how many? I don't know. It's weird to me, and they're always voicemails too.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean,
There's some like Tory Lanez songs that have whole atrocious skits. There's one album that the whole album is basically skits. It's so bad.
really?
Yeah.
I
Anyways,
don't know. We'll see. Yeah, I don't know if I've heard a good skit in a while. I'll put it that
yeah.
way. But
I
my
mean, dude,
content.
even Adele like did some of this shit on her last album, and it was so cringe. They're always cringe, but it was cringe as fuck. Ella Mai did it on a couple of her albums. Her whole album was like spelling out her initials with these stupid skits in between, and it's just like, stop, like nobody cares. Just play music,
Damn, that's a hot take.
dude. Anybody can look those up and tell me if I'm right.
The maybe those specific ones. My content, I'll put at 40 between green and yellow. Um, dude, you got to listen to Kanye's skits on uh College Dropout and Late Registration. I
I
love
could
those
see
skits.
those being decent. I don't know if I've heard them, but I could see a lot of people trying to like copy him.
Oh yeah, for sure. They're really funny. Okay,
Yeah.
production. What do you got?
Yeah. I mean, this again was I don't know. It was
We
a
talked
little bit
about it.
dull. I think like production wise, a little bit dull in terms of the mixing. Like those drums being well produced makes a big difference. I think they could have been a lot better.
Mhm.
And look at Dom in the chat, Chris.
What do you say?
Uh,
Yeah, wake up, Mr. Wood. Dude, I love the broke, flat broke. We ain't got it. Broke. I love that shit, dude. It's so funny.
But anyways, production, I think it's just a little bit dull, like liven it up a
What
little
the
bit.
fuck was that? Sorry.
More mid-range fundamentals on the instruments. You get the gist. Just like how can you have more fun with this song or make it more fun? Definitely would. There's probably a lot of work to do there, but yeah. Production, I would give it I'll give it a 65% between yellow and green. It's not bad, but it could use some shining up.
Mm-mm-mm.
What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think we said what we needed to say there. 60% between green and yellow. Overall, 50% between green and yellow.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 45% between yellow and
There
green.
you go. All right, Scrooge. But
Yeah.
thank you. I think Agonia, I think you've reached out to us before. I feel like that's not the first time we've heard you. So thank you for coming back.
Yes.
Appreciate the submission. Keep making that music. The next person we got a Velo, and we got
Actually, Dom does indeed rock because he donated
damn
and he's next.
Dom rocks. Woo! No.
We need confetti or
Appreciate
something.
Sorry. Yeah, we keep saying. Dude, you need to have like a green light thing for your
Oh, I fucking do.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, if it loads here.
I
See?
know, but
It's green now.
I don't see it. Oh, I'm looking at the Twitch one. It's probably delayed. Damn.
You'll see
Thank
it in
you,
a
Dom
second.
Rocks. We appreciate you. Oh, that's yellow, bro. What the fuck? That's
Yeah, it's a little bit yellowish. Yeah.
damn.
Yeah.
All right, sweet. Thank you, Dom Rocks. We'll push you to the front of the queue. Looks like he's got a work in progress script kitty. Dom Rock's got some crazy unique stuff, so love him as an artist. We'll see what they're working on. Let us know, Dom, if there's anything in particular you want us to pay attention to, or any questions. But other than that, we'll go for it. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Script kitty, Dom Rocks. 3, 2, 1. What is happening? What'd I tell you?
Yep, it's cool.
Oh, that's a guitar. What is?
Whoa!
I love that little behind.
It's like watching fireworks.
Yeah. Dom, what the? I didn't even think he does stuff like this.
Or that. Just trying to imagine the DOS session.
I think for this kind of music, I'd want the drums to stick out of the mix a little bit more to fun.
Sure.
But this is really crazy.
Ooh. Like that texture transition. Whoa.
Oh, I love that. love the rhythm.
That's cool.
Extreme sidechain.
Oh man, that's pretty sick.
Yeah, he knows his endings.
That's really weird. You have that hole in the waveform towards the end.
Yeah,
If there's not really a hole there,
yeah,
it's like tricking the audio engine to thinking that that's super weird.
yeah. It is weird. I don't know why. I've seen that a couple times with SoundCloud.
Well, because
Just when
there's
you.
those dropouts, and they're like probably half of the like audio there is 0, right?
Mhm, mhm.
So it's just like maybe that part is just over half it's perceiving as 0, so it's like zeroing it
I see.
time wise, you know?
I see. Yeah, like in a specific bin, it's like, oh no, it's mostly zero. I'm gonna
Yeah,
focus.
yeah, that's interesting.
That's crazy. But just when you think you know an artist, well, with Dom Rocks, it's like, oh, okay. From what I remember, he sings, plays guitar, or I think he has a bandmate that plays guitar. I'm not sure.
He
Does
plays
some sweet
guitar,
stuff.
I think, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what I think. I feel like I've asked him this every time, and he always gives me the same answer. But my memory's terrible. I'm sorry, Dom. But yeah, what the fuck, man? Like every week, it's a surprise. Like, what the fuck is this? This is
Huge,
like,
yeah, huge
this is
range of
like,
genres and everything.
yeah, it's like IDM almost. It's like ridiculous.
Yeah, he plays guitar, that's what I thought. He was doing all those solos on previous tracks and stuff.
Got it. Was it the drums then? Was it the drums that I was thinking that they have a bandmate,
Uh,
or that he does MIDI drums? I don't know.
I
But
thought there
anyways,
was somebody else at some point.
yeah, I could have swore. Let us know, Dom. But this is crazy. Is this you on production as well? Um, because wow. Uh, what do you got, Josh? What do you got for vibes? First impressions, all that.
Yeah, what the fuck? How do you learn to do this? Like, this is insane.
Yeah.
Man, I mean, like in my like music tech program, there's like a division of experimental music, and people do
Mhm,
all sorts of crazy shit with that. But this is like insane. It takes a lot of time to do this. So
mhm,
yeah, man, this is impressive. I'm like, it's so cool and interesting to listen to. I think I'd probably add this to my library just because it's like if when it comes on, it's like a mind teaser. It's like, what is going on? It's cool.
mhm, mhm.
Um, I'm curious, like, I don't know, like what your goal is with this kind of music. Um, who do you
Aren't you
see?
making an album too? Is this going to be on the album?
Yeah, like, is
No, no.
this like
Let us know.
a between tracks song, or um, I don't know. I'm just like genuinely curious to hear your philosophy of like the different stuff that you make and like where this fits into that. Um, you're making an album of like this specific type of stuff, dude. That's crazy.
Oh,
That's
what's up, Green Hollow? Yes, we're open for submissions, but we're always open for submissions. But our queue is like our free queue's pretty full. So if you submitted with the free queue now, we probably wouldn't get to you this week. In fact, we'll definitely not get to you.
yes.
But you could always do a paid submission that'll get you to the top, just like Dom Rocks did, by the way, and you'll be next. But either way, thanks for coming back. We appreciate you. Um, but let's see. So Dom Rocks made this one by myself, making an album of all this. What happened to your
Yeah.
other album? Aren't you making out?
Maybe he already
Like,
made that one. I don't know.
oh, what the fuck? All right, let us know. It's all computer and glitch themed. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
this is cool. Also, really cool album art. It looks like a neural net or something. It looks cool.
Yes.
Um, hmm. Yeah, man. I could definitely. I mean, I could see an album of this stuff being a really cool listen, especially if it's like similar but a little different. Um,
Mhm.
yeah. I mean, I'm wondering what the other tracks sound like. Are they very similar to this, or are they in the general realm but have something unique each? Because I could see like if it's a whole album where it's just sort of playing on the glitch stuttering thing, that could be a little hard. But you know, if you're varying up the rhythmic aspects, you know, the tempo and like the sonic textures and stuff, this could be a really cool thing to listen to. And it's sort of a balance, I feel like, with this type of music that's kind of out there, of making it feel cohesive to a listener who may or may not be familiar with this kind of music.
Mhm.
Um, so cohesive, like there's certain textures that are shared, but also each song is unique. So I'm super excited to hear the rest of this. But anyways, for this song specifically, I think vibes. I love hearing the stuff that's unique, that's different than everything you hear out there. Um, this was a genuinely fun listen. Um, I'm trying to think, like, maybe this is more content. Um, it may be different, this in the context of an album of this stuff where everything is different versus on its own. Uh, there's definitely a lot of the stuttering going on here, and in some cases, I was wishing there was a little bit more of a consistent rhythmic, heartbeat to sort of
Mm,
follow through it with.
mm,
And in some, I think Chris mentioned this, but at some points, like there are drum elements, but they're sometimes being drowned out a little bit.
mm,
And it can be, even if there's not a very consistent rhythm, like having those hard punches of like the kick and the snare and like the space around the kick, I feel like especially can really add weight, especially to a changing rhythm. So
uh,
I think that could be interesting. And again, curious to hear what the other parts sound like, other songs. But yeah, I liked it. I think vibes, I would give it probably a 90% between yellow and green.
mm. Yeah, I thought there was a lot. Um, or what's interesting is there's a lot of weird rhythmic things going on. Like sometimes the drums are like a little bit behind the beat. Same thing with that little that triplet thing that's happening in kind of this bass synth. I think it sounds really cool. And then even if it's super abstract, you saw me like bobbing my head. I was able to catch the beat. But I would say that there were some moments where I was like completely lost on where the beat was, or it seemed like the beat was like thrown off for a second. I don't know if that was intentional, so let me know. If your intention is to kind of do that, then it worked. But if your intention is to
Maybe. Or like
try
how
to like
like a
keep
jazz
me zoned
drummer,
in the whole time,
how like
yeah,
a jazz drummer and a solo will sometimes like, change the sort of downbeat halfway, and it's like an effect, sort of like it's not supposed to be a super consistent beat, or sometimes you want to move it around, or even like when you have a measure of a different time signature sandwiched in between other stuff.
yeah,
Just my guess, but yeah, I think he said, yeah, I like breaking the beat up.
you fucker.
I see
That's
that,
the
yeah.
thing. Like, okay, so I mean, even with my experience with drum solos, Josh, like maybe I'm not super into jazz like that, but like, I love it when a drummer like they can do something different where it even seems like they're like throwing off beat or whatever, but it's like a really weird time signature.
Mhm.
But if you like keep the groove with them, they'll like
Right,
get
and then
back
you come
into it.
back to it, yeah,
That part
yeah.
is so satisfying. But
That's
that
cool,
was
yeah.
I don't know if that was here. Uh, it just felt like oh it's shit. All right, I'm on a new beat now. I'll get back to it.
Yeah,
So.
it's its own thing, and I think it's like I know that your intention is obviously it's not meant for dancing. It's not really about that. It's just sort of like,
Hmm.
um,
That's
rhythm
true.
is a fundamental part of listening to music. For most listeners, this is
Yeah.
what it's about. Like, it's not about the quality of like the music itself, but it's like what are listeners, what is satisfying, or some sort of a fundamental like human level. And I think
Yeah.
having like, you can have a really weird rhythm, but at least making it less ambiguous, sort of like where are the hits, like the kick stuff in particular, I think is something that I was wanting more of. Like I didn't really hear a low percussive
Yeah.
instrument that sort of ties things down.
It let
Um,
it was there and it was going crazy, by the way. I love the like boom 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 boom. Like there's shit
at
that's
some
doing that.
points it was more audible, yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
but I want it like there's no kind of low end to it. It was just and it might have been taken up by the bass since there. Uh maybe that's what you're doing, but I heard a lot of the boxiness of the kick, like the doo, 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 but I didn't hear like the boom 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 boom, boom, the rattler of the sub. So like that's what I want to hear with that. But I also want to make a point to this like it's also subjective, right? Like
Very,
I
yeah.
don't listen to IDM too much. I guess I'm just broadly putting this as IDM, but I feel like the point that I was talking about where oh maybe I lost the beat for a second, and if you were saying like oh that was intentional, I like doing that, and it's like oh okay like that's cool. Like I just want to make sure that if it was intentional, then that's good. Um, and maybe for me who doesn't listen to IDM a lot, it's like oh okay well. Maybe I did. My body didn't really like that, but it's like, oh, okay, I could get down with it. But someone with the IDM background, they're probably like, oh shit, that was cool. They did this here and there, and it was intentional. So yeah, take it with a grain of salt. Um, but yeah, so my that leads to my vibes overall. I think it was very impressive. I think it was a very challenging song, especially to do transitions like the way you did. I thought that was very impressive too in the middle of the piece there. Uh, yeah, I think overall it's like 90 between green and yellow. Very good. Um, we talked a lot about the content already, but what do you got, Josh?
Yeah, the content, I think, um I mean, it's hard to like judge this almost because it's so
What's up,
abstract.
couscous? Sorry.
Couscous driver, nice. I thought it said conscious driver. It says couscous driver. Yeah, just I don't know. It's very cool. Again, I think it makes a big difference. Like this isn't like a single type thing, right? Like this makes a lot more sense in my opinion in the context of an album that's styled like this, like a sort of a masterpiece, like weird avant-garde album, which I'm again super excited for. And so it makes judging the content on this a lot harder, and also because it's not the traditional sense of like we're trying to create the most engaging, earworm content as possible. Like obviously kind of throw song structure out the window a little bit. I guess there is the part of like the engagingness. I would say it's in a good place. It's not super long, right? I don't think it gets like boring. It's
No.
definitely intriguing throughout the whole thing. So yeah, I mean, I think we already talked about a couple of areas, like maybe tweaking the structure of the rhythmic element a little bit to be just a little bit clearer. Doesn't have to be like four on the floor, but just to be a little bit more discernible or absorbable, right? Um, and other than that, I can't really think of a lot for this. It's hard to judge for this kind of thing, but
Yeah.
yeah, man, I like it. Content, I think again, I would say like 90% between yellow and green.
Yep. Content I'll put into it's kind of production piece too, but it's just the kick that I want to talk about. That's all. You mentioned it's fast and higher pitch, just like metal drumming. Um, I don't know if that's necessarily true. Maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, Josh. But I know that metal drums sometimes is fast, but I still think that they have the oomph with the kick.
Well, yeah, it's like
So
yeah, so they usually have more
and
beater noise than a regular kick, but
But and I was gonna say too, maybe for all the kicks, especially those stutter ones that goes like brr, 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 like you don't need to have the low end on each one of those kicks. Maybe you have one kick that's like the same noise, but it's just the beater noise, and then one that kind of just drives the beat home. Because I know this also might be my normie, like I want to just head bop to this, but I want to head bop to this. Like you're doing some crazy uh triplet like thing with the fucking bass, and I was catching like a beat to it, and I want something to like bring that shit out of me, you know.
yeah,
And I feel like a kick and a snare does that, um, especially a kick with some oomph. And I myself very rhythmically inclined. Like I'm a drummer by trade. A trade. I'm a drummer by I played drums for a while. I'm not a drummer like professionally, but I've done drumline for like 5 years. I've done percussion like my whole elementary, middle school, high school upbringing and stuff. So I'm really into rhythm, um, and I like rock and I like metal. So this song makes me want to bang my head, and I just like for the percussion that you put on it to kind of supplement that a little bit.
yeah.
Um, but that's all. In terms of everything, like yeah, everything else I pretty much like. Yeah, I would say 85 between green and yellow. I think it's really good.
For production, or was
Yeah,
that
or content,
content?
content. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it was an interesting debate we always used to have about like what's the point of a lot of the experimental stuff, and it's even more like the academic experimental stuff that's like super out there
Hmm.
and not as good as this. So pat yourself on the back for that one.
Hmm.
But it's like this question of when you're in this experimental sort of avant-garde place, are you? What's the point? Or is it to make something that is just weird and out there and is different, right? Purely for that, or in some cases, people would be creating like mathematical music, right? Where they're just like, what happens if I use a sieve and then like only prime numbers and literally like that's the kind of shit. And then a lot of it is like, wow, this makes me want to vomit. Like I wouldn't want to listen to this. It doesn't, it's not even cool. It's just like boring and weird.
Yeah.
Um, and in those cases, they don't really use like great sounds and whatnot. And yeah, you're saying you really enjoy it. I mean, yeah, that's a great reason, but that's what I was getting at. Is the point to make something weird and experimental and ignore the sort of humanistic, like what drives listenership? Like what makes the human brain like something, right? And
Or
like
make yeah, what makes your human brain enjoy the
yeah,
music?
exactly. And discerning like from similar things, like it's hard to figure out with this kind of stuff where it's very
Yeah.
difficult to analyze other people's like experimental music, like why you like it exactly, because it's hard to
Yeah.
figure out what they're doing.
For
But
me, I get like a ooga booga vibe, like war drums. Like I want to like beat my chest to this shit.
yeah,
That's what I'm like. But if maybe that's not what you want, you know?
and I mean the one thing that I can think of that's super relevant here is that, like, whether you're making like a groove type rhythm, right? Something that's like very clearly gonna like create a sort of repetitive cycle or whatever that has a little bit of swing. It's all sort of like deviation from the simple rhythm. And so when you get a little bit off of it, it's like a good thing, right? Like people like swung beats. They like when you're a little bit behind the beat. It creates this tension, right? Because we know what's like correct, right, in any different time signature, and then when you deviate from that, it creates this sort of longing, like your ear is so desperately trying to hear what's underneath it, like what the tempo is and what the time signature is and like what the groove is. And when it's a little bit off, it creates this, it draws you in because you want to like tie up this loose end, figure out what you're listening to. And I think a lot of the experimental stuff, when you're doing super crazy rhythms and whatnot, it's partly interesting because your ear is trying so desperately to grab a consistent rhythm, and it can't always do it, but that challenge is what makes you want to keep listening. But I think it's a fine line, right? Like if you go too far off the course, there's no semblance of any underlying order, right? It can become like a lost cause, right? You're like, I guess I'm never going to find anything under this because there is nothing under it. Versus like, oh, now we're maybe in 4/4, and then oh shit, we were in like 3 for a second, and I thought we were gonna hear that beat, but then we didn't. And you're just that. I think that push and pull is often what creates a really interesting experimental rhythmic landscape. But you have to be careful because if you go too far out or you don't give the clues, right? There's no consistent kick, or not consistent kick, but an audible kick, and an audible snare and that kind of thing, or whatever it is, how it's represented. It can be a little bit less engaging to listen to. I think there's sort of a sweet spot there, but it's another a big discussion because it's very abstract.
Yeah.
But
It's like if you're gonna take us on this cool abstract journey and you're gonna do all this cool shit,
it
make
has to
sure
have
that
like shards of like reality, right? It's
I
like
was gonna say, make sure
know?
we just not left in the dust. Like
Yeah,
bring us along for the ride. Bring us normies along with some ooga booga kick drums that kind of get me going and can walk in rhythm with it too.
yeah.
But
It's even like
yeah,
the most basic example is like think of just listening to static. Like that's not really interesting, right? It's pure chaos. It's literally like it's random noise.
white
You
noise,
can generate pink noise, white noise, whatever. It's random noise essentially.
brown noise.
That's very boring. They'll get boring very quickly, right? But if you add some rhythm into it, you start stuttering it a little bit, suddenly it starts to become interesting. It's because your brain is trying to pick patterns out of this semi-chaotic thing, but you've added a little bit of order to it, or the illusion of some order beneath the chaos. So yeah, it's an interesting subject area. But I think like for production, it's really impressive, man. Like this is no small task. Again, super excited to hear the whole album's worth of this. Um, and I think it's well put together overall. Just maybe if we could get a little bit more of the kick, that would be good. And yeah, Chris, did you have any other production things?
No, I was just gonna say the kick. Sorry, I'm making a PBJ right now. Do you hear what I said?
Yeah, the kick, was that what you said?
Yeah, I was gonna say like yeah, it's just the kick for me. Sometimes it just feels like, and it's just weird, right? Like that bass line is cool that you're having, but I've I don't know with this kind of music. I'll say it with this caveat. With this kind of music, I feel like nothing should overpower the kick and the low end there.
Yeah,
So um, that's something that I would say, uh, or just that main fundamental kick. If you decide not to put it on all of the, because I know you're stuttering it like crazy. Um, yeah, I think that's really the only production tip I
production
can
score.
offer.
What would your score be?
Uh, 80, 85 between green and yellow.
Yeah, I think I'll say even 90 maybe. It's just yeah, I'm thinking about this. My overall takeaways I think would be, in most cases when you're making commercial music, right, or like a standard genre, something that where very clearly what the listener is kind of looking for, your creative process is about refining and trying to get in the listener's head, and figure out how you can make it as appealing as possible. But I feel like when you get into more experimental areas, it can be easier to self-justify any given part or element based on the notion that this is experimental, so it's just that part is weird because it's experimental, versus maybe I can make this even more engaging and intriguing and appealing without losing the vibe of experimentalism, but thinking about what the fundamentals of human perception are, and like and if you experiment in that direction, right, instead of saying that element is like, I have some logical idea in my head why it should be that way, or some stylistic reference or something. Instead, try thinking like, how could I make this even more engaging? You don't have to go totally towards, normal music, but then try it and
Normie.
A/B things and say like, does this sort of move me a little bit more? And yeah, so he said, when I first started, I had way too much going on. I had to scale it back. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
That's crazy.
And I wonder what that would have sounded like too. But I think,
Yeah, I think I hear remnants of that in some parts.
yeah, and it might be that there are certain blind spots, after listening to it so many times, that to you sounds simpler than they used to, but to us still sound a little bit overly, muddy or complex or whatever it is.
Just big brain dumb.
It bordered on noise music. Yeah, which is
Oh, dude.
is the eventuality of,
One of my friends
layering too
loves
much
noise
stuff.
music.
Yeah,
Hey, man, that's a thing too. That's a genre, right?
yeah.
It's kind of subjective. Like,
It's very subjective, yeah, for sure.
yeah,
But I also think it's like you could probably there's data somewhere about like how much does the listenership, reduce the more that you get towards something even more like insane, and
towards
it's
noise
fine. Like
fart music. Yeah,
if you don't care about having people listen to it or whatever, that's fine. You don't have to for this kind of thing or whatever it is. There's no obligation to do that. But I don't know. It's like if you're trying to make something you're proud of, keep working on making it the best experience that it can be, right? Even if it's just for you. So yeah, it's great to hear this. Love to hear the many genres and styles and talents of Dom Rocks. Dom does indeed rock. We can, and I know that I think that's your last name, but it's a great name.
that's your last name. That's so crazy.
I think it is. Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, man, great to hear from you. And then track total. Oh man, this is hard. I think I'd probably say 85 to 90% overall.
I agree.
Yeah. So yeah,
Pretty
it's
good.
super cool. Looking forward to hearing more from you, man.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I think you're one of the most artistic people we have in the stream. So glad
Yeah,
you submitted. Thank you for the tip.
absolutely. Yeah.
Hopefully, we gave you some tips as well.
Yes. Love to see it.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Go to the next one.
So yeah, let's go to the next one. I don't think we have any. Oh, we do have a dono. Hell yeah.
Green Hollow?
Green Hollow. Yeah. Sorry, we
I'm
kept you
just about to
waiting.
say. Woohoo! Green Hollow, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. I could do. Let me do the green, the greenish yellow,
Jeez.
especially for Green Hollow. I have to.
Got to. All right.
There
Green
it
Hollow,
is.
friend of the stream.
Thanks for that. All right.
Green Hollow, have you submitted in a while? I feel like we've seen you before, but I don't know if you've submitted recently. Oh, no. You see. Okay, I see you. All right. So we got Discovery, Work in Progress. The project description says really atmospheric liquid track. Ooh, definitely more of a lounge type vibe rather than a dance floor track. All right. No RBs, no BC on this
Oh
track, I
boy.
guess. I'm guessing. It's a liquid song, so.
Don't jinx it.
But yes, Green Hollow, it's your turn now. So if you have anything that you want to have us kind of point our attention to, or want to put more backstory into the song, let us know. Put it in the chat. But otherwise, you ready?
Let's do it.
All right, Discovery, Green Hollow. 3, 2, 1. Liquid funk. Flute. Nice shaker.
Is that the hi-hat from Everlong?
I don't know.
With the same tempo.
Some reverse drums here.
Ooh. Let's go. Friday, bitch.
I'm like floating. I'm swimming right now.
Yeah.
With my PB&J underwater.
welcome back, Avenged. What up?
Very repetitive melody there.
True. Sort of wish there was more happening here. That background noise is kind of just ambiguous. It's sort of just floating around. Nice when it comes back in.
There we go. I like this melody than the earlier one.
The background melody, the little chirpy thing,
Yeah.
it's a little bit early. It's sort of like it's hyper, like it's coming in too early each time.
Yep. I actually like it better than the first one.
I will say though, there are some repetitive elements. Like again, this background element is just every 2 beats or whatever it is.
On 1 and 3.
Yeah.
I almost wanted to layer with the snare. The bass sounds nice and wide. Ching.
And then the way that the bass moves at the end there, I'm sort of having trouble getting what the chord progression is. It just sort of sounds like the bass is going back and forth, like almost like an octave thing at some points. Yeah, so I mean, this is cool. I definitely like when it comes into those loud parts. It's very satisfying. It's a nice vibe. You know, it's cohesive. The tempo is cool. My main overview is that, Chris, what's going on there? Can't really hear you now either.
Sorry. I wanted to blow my nose, but didn't want to be obnoxious.
You're good. I was just confused.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, no, you're good. Yeah, I think just my one overview is like, again, I like the part when it comes in loud with the bass and everything. I don't really have any issue with the bass. I think it sounds really nice and full. But just with that same exact drum beat thing happening the whole time, and it's 3.5 minutes, I think this kind of thing could definitely be a little shorter. If it had more sort of development throughout, it could be this long or longer, but it just is a little bit fatiguing to hear that same fast breakbeat the whole time without any let up. And I was sort of surprised. Like I thought in the quieter section we were maybe going to get a little bit of a let up from that. You know, one of the drum parts would kick out for a second, and that would make that the push back into the loud part even more satisfying, right? If it was just like something more minimalist, and then we come back into the that very poorly beatboxed section. So yeah, I think the main thing is about the content on this. I think the production is pretty good, and the overall vibes are kind of a symptom of both of the content and production aspects together. So for me, vibes probably is like a 80%, 75 or 80%, just because I wanted a little bit more, variance, like to keep me more interested throughout instead of kind of doing the whole thing with just modulations of what instruments are active. Providing some contrast throughout. That's such an important factor, is contrast across all of these different axes, right?
Progression.
Not just like the sonic part, the frequency part, but also the rhythmic part, the spatial element. The contrast is what makes people see what you actually have. And without that, it's just, we kind of become used to it. It becomes a little bit monotonous. So yeah, what do you think for vibes?
Yeah, I can agree with a lot with what you said. I do. Back when I used to listen to Liquid a lot more, this is when I played Super Smash Bros. Melee a lot, and I'd be training to be a semi-pro. But it was just something like super kind of. It's weird because there's a contrast of like, it's chill melody, kind of chill vibe with it, but you got this like hectic, fast drum beat that's happening, and you can kind of just tune out to this kind of music. And so I kind of give it a pass on terms of why the drum beat was there the whole time. I feel like that's just kind of standard in the liquid space. I do say that it would be nice. I think the best liquid songs have that kind of reprieve. Um, and I think for me, the biggest thing that if I were you, Green Hollow, to add or to change is the kind of melodic lines because I think, like Josh was saying, contrast is important. If you have something that's so repetitive in the drum beat already, that's kind of holding it down and letting you tune out, we need something that gives us some sort of value to listen to the whole song. And I think that's where you can add a melody. And I think the melody is kind of the hardest part. A melody that progresses.
Yeah,
Um,
and
the
you know,
melody that comes in the middle of the song there, um, the first time around, it was very repetitive. It was almost like less than one bar, but it was looped. Um, so it was just like I got tired of that melody right away. And
yeah,
then you switch it up to another melody that was also just like one bar. Got tired of it right away.
right.
And then the last one, it comes back in. I like that melody a little bit better, but it was also one bar. So I was like, if you could somehow make the melody kind of longer and just uh, give us a little bit of progression and a journey in this liquid kind of space, I think that'd be really nice. I do think in general though, like when it hits, and that beginning. Uh, it hit really well, man. It was very full. It was very nice. I felt like I was floating in my chair with my PB and J sandwich. Um, but yeah, so the last thing we want to do is get tired of it. So that's what the vibes are. And I think what was your score?
75-80.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah, 75. Um, between green and yellow, there's a lot to like, but I think a lot to work on too. So sorry, what were you gonna say?
Just about the melody, and this sort of goes into content. Like, I don't.
Oh, by the way, you said he's been getting most of the critique around the bass.
Yeah, I know. I said before, I think the bass is fine.
Hmm.
Um, I think it sounds nice and full for the most part. There's a one production thing, but we'll get to that there. Just like melody wise, I do like that part that kept repeating is earwormish. It's still like in my head.
Hmm.
But when you're listening to it, I think the main thing is it's kind of annoying, and it being ahead of the beat a little bit, like a little bit too fast, is kind of annoying. It's kind of like a kid who's like begging, like annoying you and like won't stop asking you the same thing over and over. It's like that kind of feeling. Like it's that sort of immature, like it's not on the beat, it's not in rhythm, and it just keeps happening over and over and over again. It's like pestering a little bit. I guess that's the word. Um, and I think it could even be like three repetitions of that, and the fourth is like something slightly different, and that could just make it more palatable to where it's like a 4 bar like unit motif or whatever that repeats. And at least now you don't have 16 repetitions of the same thing. You have 4 repetitions. That's what happens when you take something and segment it into like a slightly longer section, like a 4 bar or whatever it is. So it's just not the exact same thing over and over and over. It's a little bit varied. So that could be one way to take that earwormish part and package it into something more interesting. But overall, yeah, I don't know. Content, I think it was cool. It just was a little bit, the beat itself was also very repetitive throughout. So that's sort of a structural songwriting thing. I would give it a 70% for content.
Yeah, man, I'm listening back to it, and your bass is doing a lot of movement there, and it's slower moving than the melody. So if you could just make, or this is like a thing to try, like try to slow down the melody a little bit, kind of not make it just one loop the whole time. Try to like make it almost follow the bass, and see if you can make something kind of cohesive there. Uh, I agree with pretty much everything that Josh said. By the way, listening back to it, when you said it was like a kid, like those melodies are almost like na 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 na, and it's like over and
Yeah,
over
it's like
again, you know.
it's that vibe.
But yeah, there's a lot to like still. I think the bass sounds pretty full. It might be jumping around a lot in notes, and maybe I don't know if I don't know if it's off the grid, but it doesn't seem to be the standard 4/4 structure, which is like critical in this kind of space. I feel like, but you could always try to do something weird, but the best part about doing something weird is like making it still fit. So, um, Yeah, that would just be like something I would try. Slow down that melody a little bit, kind of give us some progressions. There's a lot of cool things happening, like I want to say pads or even it seems like choir voices that are in the background that can help supplement progression. That can make it like become very kind of maybe stripped back and more bass in the beginning, like you have that hit, but then as melody builds up, and then you get more kind of the angelic chorus in the background, and they're also moving in melody. I think that'd be really nice, but it's a good start. Um, I think the biggest thing for me is content. I think production is really, really pretty solid. So if I were to factor that into my score, where would I put content? Maybe 70% between green and yellow, maybe 65 even. Just because I think melody is going to be critical,
Yeah, definitely.
but I
Yeah,
think you have a really nice foundation.
it's definitely the content here. Like it's again, it's it's the rhythmic backbone, like being more having more contrast and taking the user on more of a journey rather than just like a flat road, right?
Yep.
And then with the melodies, all like that's a huge songwriting part that's very important for listenability.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then production, I think it's pretty good. I couldn't really spot any issues with the bass. I did think that there was maybe the bass didn't feel super matched up to the timbre of the snare at some points. Like the bass was very thick and full, and the snare sounded a little bit band limited. Like it was a little bit, constrained to one sort of mid range area. It didn't have as much body as I would have liked to help it sort of feel like it's the same, drum kit as the kick. Make them feel like they weren't, they're not separate from each other. They're part of the same instrument, kind of to match those colors up a little bit better. So that's the main thing. I think everything else, like sounds pretty nice. I like the usage of like the reverbs and stuff on that melody part and the way that it's placed, in the space. I think that sounded good. A lot of that spatial stuff sounded really good, but it's just getting the basics down. So production, I think I would probably give that like an 80 or 85%.
Yeah, I don't know if I can give much but on what I heard. I thought it was really solid. Um, yeah, maybe the snare could be a little more fat, but yeah, I was pretty happy with production. I'd say it's like 90, 95 for me. Between green and yellow. Um, Overall, that puts me at 75 between green and yellow.
Sweet.
Yeah. What do you got?
Um, yeah, I think overall I would probably say 70 between yellow and green.
There you go. It's a pretty solid track so far, Green Hollow. Let us know what you come up with.
Yeah,
Um, I'm interested.
absolutely.
That first hit is really spectacular. So
Yeah,
good work, good work.
yeah, definitely. Cool.
Okay, so just to have everybody on the queue, we have Avilo, Zale, Menthol Slim, God's Warrior, Balenci Baby, Music by Div, Jokerhead, and KVS. Um, we usually have a hard stop at 7:30. Josh, do you want to do that, or should we do like two more songs? What do you think?
I mean, we definitely won't have time for two. We've only got time for one.
For one, all right.
We have time for less than one, but we can go past 7:30 to get through one.
Yeah, I was gonna say we started pretty late, but
Yeah,
yeah. So we'll
I
do
don't
one
think
more
any of the
song.
folks that are on here are here, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it shouldn't be an issue.
Okay. Yeah. So we have one more last song. If anybody here in the chat wants a feedback right away, now's your chance to skip the line. Otherwise, we'll go to Avilo and end out the show. So
Yes, yeah. If anybody is here who has feedback submitted, let us know in the chat if you want to be up and if you're planning on doing the
thank you,
uh,
Green Hollow. Sorry.
donate. Holy fuck, my restream chat just signed me out right now.
Ah,
God damn it.
that's okay.
Today is
I
like
guess.
a horrible day for tech difficulties.
Yeah. Really. Hardware,
The internet
software.
is broken. Yeah, it's weird.
I don't know what's happening, but yeah. I think I don't think there's anybody else. So I think we might as well just do the one in the queue.
Yep.
All right.
That's
So
it.
Avilo Fantasy Extended Mix. It's finished release. Out September 9th on Twisted Funk. All right.
Oh, autoplay.
Oh shit. That's gonna be some. That's gonna be some party music, man. Do I need to get the Red Bull out?
I
Let's
think you might.
go. All right, you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Why is this private? But if it's a finished release, all right. Avilo Fantasy 5, 4, 3, 2. Let's go, baby.
Fat drums.
Let's see. Oh, I turned it down. That's it. Oh, very high frequency timbre. Nope, there we go.
Ooh. There's a little bit of a melodic instrument in the background. It's hard to hear. Just one note.
Yeah, boom, boom. Boom, boom.
Very bright.
Very. Dude, this sounds like old house. It's crazy.
Yeah.
There, that's better.
That's nice. What was that melodic instrument? It was there for like, oh,
That little.
it's getting squashed. Need a side chain to that thing.
I think it's pretty sparse though, isn't it?
Nice.
Sounds like old school. Comes in.
Yeah, I like that synth part, the little melody thing, but it sounds weird to me. That bass is killer.
The bass is killer.
So nice.
This gives off like a 90s house, 2000s house,
2000s, yeah.
DDR Dance Dance Revolution song.
It's kind of refreshing. It's like throwback.
For real. It's got like the cheesy samples and everything. Like, I
Yeah.
know I've heard that kick 1,000 times.
It's like a
This
perfect
fucking
version.
hi-hat.
Yeah. It's like a perfect version of all that.
Damn,
Wow.
that's pretty cool.
Crazy.
Avilo Fantasy.
Na, 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 na. I like that. I like the melody there too. It's
Oh,
catchy.
yeah. Yeah, the vocalist I think was fantastic.
Man.
All right, what do you
Extended
got?
mix. Love it. I wonder what the normal one is.
Right? Oh, 4 minutes. Wow, that didn't feel like 4 minutes.
Yeah, I mean,
Really
I
enjoyable.
I don't think it was really too long, but it's nice that there's a shorter one too for when that's needed.
Damn, bro, you had to put me on blast like that. Chris Dickey gold. Damn. I don't know what it
Should have
is.
saved it for after the stream like a professional.
Man, that should have been running down my nose. That
Oh
would have been
god.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just gotta do that for showbiz.
Sometimes no way, bro.
How
I'm
does like
good.
how do you think Letterman does it or did it?
He did it.
No, they probably blow their nose at like the commercial break.
Yeah. I don't got no commercial break.
We
We
should,
gotta
yeah,
get
we should have commercial breaks. We should get
yeah,
Skillshare to sponsor us.
dude. You can get ads on Twitch, but I don't. I think that's like another level of partner.
Yeah, I don't think anybody here wants that either.
Nope.
It's yeah. But anyways, that was dope, man. I like that.
That's pretty cool.
Vibes. I don't know. I don't have a whole lot to say. I mean, I maybe you might be more familiar with like that the house
Mhm,
stuff. The specific eras and whatnot. But
mhm,
I mean, this sounded familiar to me in a way, right? It's like, yeah, I know that there's a whole genre that sounds a lot like this in a certain time period too.
mhm,
But I thought it was enjoyable to listen to. It brought me back to the times that I've heard that stuff in the past and sort of that era. But it was genuinely well constructed aside of that, it was well
mhm,
put together. It sounded really good. It was
mhm,
fun. I think it wasn't too long, even though it was the extended mix. So
mhm.
shit, I liked it. I would give it like, I don't know, 95% for vibes probably.
Yeah, I think, like I said, sounds like that 2000 eras hip or not hip hop, sorry, house.
Yeah.
Sounds like it'd be on a DDR game, and I'd be playing it in the arcade. I think that's super cool. Um, the only thing about the vibes, I'd say, especially in the beginning, and it's like for a long time, it just seems super top heavy, and the hi hat is just very like piercing. So, um, we listen to the whole song here and kind of obligated to, but somebody that hears that for like a whole minute and it doesn't get to the good part where you kind of finally fill it in with the bass at the drop, and the bass is really good. Maybe somebody won't um, kind of give your track the light of day, so just be aware of that. But other than that, I mean, having listened to it all, I thought it was really, really, really good. Um, Vibes, I think, 90% green, between green and yellow. Very nostalgic of those times for sure. Right down to the fucking samples that you used. That kick, man. All right, content. What do you got?
um yeah, content, I think. Again, I didn't really see any problems with stuff. I didn't really mind the hi-hat so much. I thought it was the least piercing of the piercing things that we've heard today,
Mm,
as Chris goes on his expedition. Um, but anyways, the content, I don't know. I liked it a lot. I didn't really see a lot wrong with it. Yes, maybe it was a little bit like, representative of a certain genre and era and time, whatever, not super different, but I don't know. It was fun. It's nice to have those kind of throwback things. It's like the band Greta Van Fleet is just a like decently carbon copy of Led Zeppelin, but they're still fun to listen to, right? Because it brings you back to that time that isn't really getting made as much and whatnot. So yeah, I liked it. I don't have any problems with the content really.
it's like
Um,
Griselda.
what was that?
As it's like it reminds me of Griselda. They just make like super old school sounding hip hop,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah, 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 yeah,
and
totally.
it's super good.
Yeah. So I don't know, content. I think I would give it again like maybe a 90%. It's not like super unique or anything, but it was enjoyable to listen to for sure.
Yeah, yeah. I thought the vocalist was fantastic. I thought the bass line was fantastic. All the melodies that you decided to put in.
Hmm.
I did like the big kind of burn, like the low brass that you put in the drop at the beginning of it, like the
Hmm.
downbeat, really gave it some impact. You started putting some random stabs in there, and I don't know if I like those too much, but that's like pretty much it. I think everything else is pretty spot on. Um, yeah, a lot of ambient stuff going on to supplement the melodies. Bunch of different instruments doing melodic stuff that sounded good to the ear. So I think content's like 95 between green and yellow. It's really good. Maybe just green.
Hmm.
Maybe being stingy. No, wait, the stab I didn't like 95. All right.
Oh yeah.
Production. What do you got?
Yeah, production. Okay, so there's just maybe one or two things here. One that there's a melody, like a synth, like a little melody line that comes in. It's just like a short part, like a bar or less, and it happens like twice in each chorus or something. Um, I don't know if I love the sound that's being used for it, but the bigger problem is it's just being buried by the rest of the mix. I can sort of make out that it's there, but it sounds like it's right on top of the frequency space of other stuff. Like it's kind of it's poking in there, but it doesn't have a place. It doesn't have a space for it. It's just being shoved on top of everything else.
Yeah.
And that
That's
affects the intelligibility of being able to hear it, and just makes the mix feel crowded, and it feels like it's out of place. So
Sebus, thanks for the follow.
hey,
Sorry, I got
and
it. I got it.
oh, you got it, cool. So yeah, just wanting to hear more of that little melody part, either making the timbre stick out more so we can hear it, or like, in a space that has less frequency busyness, or even side chaining it out briefly. Those are ways that you could make that more audible. The other part, I was thinking the vocal, that vocal sample, right? I assume that you don't have any relation with the actual vocalist. It sounds really obvious that it was recorded, like, by somebody else. It was like found somewhere, whatever. It sounds like a bolt-on part. It doesn't sound like it's part of your mix or your recording or whatever, your source material. And that's mostly because it's again kind of bandpassed. It's in a very narrow frequency range. It's a lot brighter than most of your other instruments, and so it just kind of sticks out a little bit. It's maybe gated super hard or something. It sounds a little artificial, like it was found somewhere and it's gone through all these different processing chains that don't have to do with yours. Sounds out of place slightly, timbrely or sonically or whatever.
Mhm.
Um, it's a good sample. It's so obvious that it's like taken from somewhere else. It doesn't sound like it's integrated especially well into your song, right? It's a different, like, feel or color or texture or balance or whatever you want to call it. Sounds out of place. So that I would work on integrating it better into the track. Um, but other than that, I don't really have a whole lot of production stuff. I think, like, again, your drums sound super fat. I didn't really have an issue with the hi hat. It was maybe a little bit tinny, but I don't think it was above the threshold of listenability or anything. So yeah, I think I would give you probably a 90% for production. It's
Mhm.
impressive, like how thick those drums are, especially.
Yeah, I agree with Josh's criticism there. Yeah, that little like kind of synth that was there. It felt like it was on top of everything. Um, Interestingly enough, and then I already said it. I just feel like the hi hat was kind of not even the hi hat, but like just the mix of the song in general. And the beginning before the bass came out was just super top heavy. Like with the vocalist came in too, it was a nice little relief from it. But yeah, it was still just super top heavy. Um, when the drop came in, it kind of blew me away. So, but yeah, um, overall, I think production's at 90 as well. Um, Overall, I'm at 90 between green and yellow.
Dope. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think I can stick with that too. I liked it. Yeah, and this was well executed, so good on you.
I feel like I could send this to one of my friends and he'd love it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, got that old DDR vibe. But cool, that's it. Wanted to say Sebus. I don't know if you submit to us or not, but it is the last song of the night. If you submit to us though, we will get to your song. You'll be put into our queue, which we go through every week. But sometimes there's people left over, and so if you want feedback, just come back next week. And if the queue's super long, which it kind of looks like it is, um, you could always skip the queue by giving us a tip. But we'll get there when we get there, right?
Yep. Yes, indeed.
Cool. So yeah, I guess Josh usually does a spill, but thanks for coming, thanks for following, thanks for giving us tips. Shout out Dom Rocks and Green Hollow. Appreciate you guys. And shout out to everybody that submitted. Um, you can follow us on Instagram. That's like where we keep, I guess, the most updated. Uh, we are working on some stuff behind the scenes, so hopefully we can update you guys more on exactly what Fast Track is trying to offer. But right now, it's just trying to listen to your guys' music and give some feedback. Um, Follow us. I already said Instagram. There's like Discord. We have a Discord community. Um,
Twitch.
Twitch, yeah, yeah,
Get
that's true
notified when we stream and all of that.
for sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All that shit. But yeah, you have anything else? Did I miss anything?
I don't think so. Instagram, we've got a link tree on there. You can join our Discord. That's been heating up a little. I think there's some stuff that we need to respond to, actually,
Oh,
because there's some activity going on. So sorry for that for any of those folks. But yeah, it's starting to get interesting there. So if you want to be in a community of like-minded folks who make music, then join that. Again, go to our Instagram and go to our link tree. We also have our playlists for the top tier tracks, which unfortunately we didn't get into today. We got some really cool stuff, but the top tier tracks are kind of the best of the best, executed well in every category. This shit should be heard by everyone, basically. And we've got announcements on our Instagram for those and playlists where you can listen to those tracks as well. So yeah, I think that's going to be it for today. And like Chris said, we will be back next week for more feedback and going through the queue. So if you're in there, just hang tight. And looking forward to hearing more music that you guys are working on. It's always really interesting.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.
Dope. All right, everyone, have a great weekend and stay safe out there and keep making great music.
Cebu's got to convince us better than that, bro.
Damn, make an exception. How much you gonna pay us though?
Yeah. Say, damn, what about me? We
We will
got you
get to
next
you.
time.
Keep
Yeah.
coming back and you will get feedback from us.
Yeah. I mean, guaranteed, if you tip us, we'll put you at the front of the queue. That's how it is.
Yes.
So,
Correct.
but thanks
All
for
right.
stopping by. I appreciate you.
Yep. All right. Thanks everyone. Have a good one. See you next week.
Peace.
Peace.